All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to New York City. MLG offices. We're casting some StarCraft 2. We got, you're watching live stuff, by the way.
Yes.
Unless you're watching the rebroadcast, which will be happening sometime. So it'll say in the title above, like probably like right here. Say over here. Maybe maybe.
No, I think right there.
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
pointing at it. See, Nick knows.
I know.
Nick knows.
I know. So game 2 should be coming up.
Cool. So
in
again,
just a second.
To kind of recap things, this is Vortix versus Tefel. Tefel up 1-0.
Yes.
Dignitas versus Mouse. This is essentially the ace match. The winner of this game will put their team into the finals, one step closer to being the champion of this team tournament. A lot of money on the line, guys, too. How you guys doing in the chat? Are you having a good day? Tell me about your day. And feel free to ask any questions about the games or whatever. I see a lot of familiar faces. Great to see you guys. Vartrad, Fur, Shalashaska, Hate CC.
Oh, Bombgen's here. Still.
Bombgen, of course. A. Hamilton, CG Zerton, Pierre Jacques. Jacques? How do you do it? Pierre. Come on, Nick. Give it a go.
Jacques.
Jacques?
Yeah.
Isn't it like Jacques? And
Jacques.
you have to like put your chin up a little bit, like
Jacques.
Yeah, that's what it is. Shout out to you. And Alayera, 1989. How's it going? Atlon X. Thanks for hanging out with us. So once we're finished with these matches, by the way, we're gonna do some fun stuff, even more fun stuff. We're gonna have community matches. We're gonna have it's basically interaction with you guys is the idea. It's called the MLG Community Party. We've done it before. I don't know if y'all remember it. Hopefully, if you're a regular of MLG. MajorGaming.com and StarCraft 2, you would know of this kind of stuff. We basically, the channel to be in is MLG in the America server, StarCraft 2, and we basically do whatever we feel like. Whether that be, Star Strikers or, Dodgeball, or every time someone subscribes, we take a shot of water. Or I don't know. Like again, it's a very flexible time, and the idea is to hang out with you guys a little bit more because you guys are awesome. That's the plan tonight. Probably do that for a couple hours, 3 hours. I don't know how long. We'll see. And then tomorrow, let's see. Today, yeah. And then we'll run a rebroadcast of this, and then tomorrow we're gonna go on into the China tournament that we're casting 7 a.m. So make sure you're getting up early with us because if hey Atlon X, if you're not there, man, I'm gonna look for you. If you're not there at 7 a.m. tomorrow, let's not get to that point, man. Let's not get to that point. And that's gonna be all week long. So definitely tune into that. Also, the second semifinal from this tournament is tomorrow as well at 2 p.m. So bunch of awesome stuff to watch. Basically, all you need to know: MajorLeagueGaming.com, any time of the day, and there will be something awesome.
Wednesday, we also have that ESET.
We do.
ESET Masters Season 2 Finals of 2013.
Right.
That's going to be pretty intense.
What time? Do we know what time that is?
I want to say 2 p.m. it starts.
Is that just Wednesday?
It's just Wednesday.
Okay.
It's a one-day tournament, so the season finals, I think it's a 32-person single elimination tournament, or maybe double elimination, but there's 32 people who qualified for it.
Right.
And the prize pool is only 500 cheeseburgers. But
only. It's
way bigger than that. You're going to have a lot of cream pros because if you make, I think it's top 4. I want to say like
you qualify
for the entire year finals, which is like a $20,000 event. That's going to be only 16 people who qualify for that total. I think 4 or 5 of them are from the season 2 finals.
Yes.
And that's going to be a offline tournament in, I think, somewhere in Germany. So it's a big event.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive event. So yeah, while players are playing for that initial prize money, more importantly, they're playing for a spot in the Super Bowl. They're playing for a spot in that big tournament.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, we're about to get in game 2 between Vortix and Tefel. Tefel currently up 1-0. I see you guys hanging out in the chat. Madman998, Aluka, Methingazi, Video 2000, Chunky Limes, Alayara, Call Me Joe. All right, I'll call you Joe. I can do that. B. Boris, I got ya. I'm not very familiar with ZVZ, but didn't Vortix have a great position that game?
That's a good question.
Asks I got ya. I got ya always has good questions,
He
and
does.
that's kind of why he's a mod.
Yeah.
So if y'all ask really good questions,
I don't know if he ever had a great position in that game, honestly. The thing is his attack, after that Roach attack, right?
Right.
Tefel had such a fast reaction with building those spine crawlers. And morphing 4 banings was genius because the Roaches were all clumped. Tefel actually really controlled that defense super well. So, and at the end of that, I think we saw Vortix was up maybe like 5 drones.
Right.
But the big thing is that he never got Zergling speed. And when your opponent has Zergling speed and you don't, Tefel could take it faster. Third, he already had the 4 spines, so he could drone up greedily. And then yes, his Roach speed was late, his upgrades were late. But what he did is he really invested into tech. And Vortix, I think, maybe was slightly ahead. But then he played aggressive. He tried to keep ending the game instead of teching. Because he could have had Infestors really early. He could have gone like straight to Infestors pretty much if he wanted to, right? He had a lot of options to tech, but instead he was trying to do these Roach timing attacks against an opponent. Remember, like I said, you want to be slightly greedier or way less greedy. And Tefel was just slightly greedier than Vortix. So Vortix had to either, but he wasn't being too greedy to the point where Vortix could break him with an attack.
Yeah.
It was close. He almost broke him. But
Vortix was also, I don't want to say overeager, but he was very pressure-minded. Like, he was always the guy across the map trying to apply the pressure. Tefel played very patiently, stayed back, took advantage of those 4 spine crawlers, took advantage of that position he had, and waited for Vortix to make a mistake, and then he pounced. And then once Vortix made that overextension, Tefel had that great engagement, had those Hydras, able to make that engagement work for him, able to be very cost-efficient, pushed across the map, and then won the game. So, that said, what do you expect to see from Vortix in this game? I mean, in the beginning of last game, he went for the Roaches. Are we going to see something similar? What do you think?
I mean, he's very versatile with his openings. I have no prediction. Last game he went hatchery first. This game they're both doing a pool hatch build, so not one to risk losing to a super early pool or anything like that. One thing about Vortix is he said he's very overeager, just wants to get into fight and make the battles happen, even if he's at a disadvantage. And that's actually how he's been for about 8 years. He used to be a Warcraft player, one of the best Warcraft players. Of course, him and his brother Lucifron were both very good, and just like StarCraft 2, right? But he was in Warcraft. He was the same way. He would play undead, and like he wouldn't care if his opponent out leveled him with the creep game, out expanded him. He played like 2 base versus 3, 4. It didn't even matter. He played 1 base versus 3 often.
And how was he able to make it work?
He would do anything possible to get a battle. It didn't matter if it was a bad battle, he was behind in tech, or it was the timing was poor. As long as he got in a battle,
bloodthirsty, he
would just micro like an absolute monstrosity maniac. It seemed impossible the battles he could make comebacks in. Because he'd be like, he's just getting outplayed all game, and it's in the battle, and he just micros perfectly.
Yeah.
And you kind of saw that, like his control and his setups about the way he was going about the battles was actually very good last game. But Tefel was matching him, and it was kind of easier to make a comeback based on micro in Warcraft 3, because Warcraft 3, the battles go on for a long time. There's so much space and time to do these crazy micro moves. StarCraft does a lot of micro as well, but it's fast, it's brutal, and it's quick. And it's harder to make that insane, just like micro comeback, basically.
So starting off this game, not too many deviations, I don't think. I mean, one player has speed on the way. Vortix, is he skipping that again?
Yes.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
I mean, who knows? I mean, he hasn't even gotten
gas
yet,
he's just not getting his gas as well.
He focused on extra queens early, right?
I think that's kind of cool.
So he's got to get a lot of creeps right. It's a 4 queen opening, which you don't see too often in ZVZ, and he's going straight for Roach Run. So yeah, I mean, if you don't get speed, like starting speed now is almost there's not much point to it, because what are you gonna do with the speedings? Your opponent's gonna have more because you spent a lot of minerals getting 4 queens. By the time your speedings are out, your opponent either they've already passed that point in the game, kind of where yes they're useful throughout the game, but there's a certain point where you rather spend the money on your actual beefy army, right? Which is going to be the Roaches and the upgrades. At least for, standard ZVZ these days. You still see muted sometimes, but it's mostly Roach play. And look at this Tefel. A great read on his opponent.
Saw the number of queens.
Yeah, and I mean, he saw even as soon as they were chasing his overlord, he knew what was going on, right?
Yep, immediately.
Going for the third base, he says,
third base layer.
If you're not going to have Zergling speed, which you're not if you're making that many queens early, I'm just going to take a third base.
Wow. And
then what are you going to do about it? And he can't do anything. Of course, what he can do is build 7 Roaches and hopefully launch an attack, maybe.
Uh,
I don't know. Without +1 weapons though, or +1 range.
and the roach one from Tefel's about to finish too, so he'll have the ability to build roaches, especially considering he'll be able to see any units coming across the map.
Oh, but Vortix is actually getting Zerging speed behind us. I think these evos are kind of fakes. He's trying to get him to think he's doing like.
That's a good point.
He's going for it because there are some like.
This is just a mass roach thing attack.
Yeah.
No upgrades.
And sometimes people get just focused on the delay to third base to get just a jump and upgrades in Roach Wars. But I think they're just there to partly the wall, and I think just rally nothing but speedings behind us. This is, and it's kind of cool because the last game he did a roach attack and he droned behind it.
Yep.
This game it's a roach attack and he's doing nothing but rallying and speedings behind it. It's much more committed than last game.
Wow.
But of course it's much harder to stop as well.
Oh, he doesn't let those things run by.
Yeah, he's got
it there.
Oh, but you're gonna see no third base. That might help.
Okay, what is he making? He's making roaches behind this. So he's
here's Overlord. Overlord sees it right now.
He sees it. How does he prepare? No spines. Okay, not as many spines as last time. Only one spine here. This pushes a little bit later, but here come the lings. Here come the roaches, and this is gonna look. This is actually looking pretty good. This is looking good for Vortix.
Yeah, he's better pull all his drones right now, or evac the natural. Here come the drones, but there's so many speedings here. This is brutal, man.
There's nothing to defend these drones. Tefel desperately trying to get roaches onto the field, but taken completely off guard by this attack from Vortix, making the same amount of roaches that last time, except adding in a lot of speedlings, and they are dealing so much damage at this natural expansion. Nothing but units being made by both of these two players. Can Tefel get enough roaches out to mitigate this damage? Or is it just too much at this point?
I mean, Vortix keeps rallying units, and he now has a supply lead. Tefel's trying to work his way back. Now, Tefel, even though he lost a lot of drones, he's still actually on even drone count. So if he can find a way to hold this off, he's okay. And he also has a tech mix. He's a layer. Roach speed is done.
Yeah.
But it may be too late. More drones are having to be pulled. More and more speedings continue to rally in from Vortix. Now, with Roach speed, maybe Tefel can pull something off with great micro. But it's going to be tough. Is he actually going to do this? Is he going to somehow defend this?
I mean, as long as he stabilizes, this can be okay. Behind this, Ling's rush on the way. 1-1 started from Vortix, so he does have a plan beyond this.
Yes.
He's realized, okay, he might not kill his opponent.
Wow.
Layer halfway done, and look at that. Tefel stabilizes.
So let's take a look at things. So 24 drones were killed in that process.
That's a lot.
But that being said, the drone count's even. So 24 drones were killed because Tefel had 24 more before that. And Speeding's trying to get some more damage done, but Tefel has his own Speedings. And this is really interesting. They're both going to have 3 bases. Some more drones being picked off here. But that should be taken care of. So they're both going to be on 3 bases, but Tefel has Roach speed done and +1 weapons done. Whereas Vortix is trying to get his 1-1 right now. There may be an opportunity for Tefel to like knock the 3rd base out or something. Because there won't be Roach speed or 1-1 upgrades for Vortix. So the advantage will be to Tefel. Oh, but he doesn't want to. Yeah, he wants to. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough. He doesn't have enough. But this is interesting. I think. I mean, Vortix is ahead. I think he's gotten. He's ahead.
I mean, in ZVZ though, that can all change.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Honestly.
He's not ahead by actually nearly as much as you'd think.
Right. Based on how that looked initially.
He did that thing. I've been talking about a lot today about that being either a little bit more greedy or a lot less greedy. Right? In this game, he did a lot less greedy, and he got 24 drone kills, but Tefel pulled a massive defense there and was able to kind of stabilize. This is actually, I mean, this could go either way now. Vortix still with, a small lead, mostly just in a few more roaches here, a few more drones, but he does have an upgrade advantage as well, 1-1 versus 1-0. But Tefel's already started the +2.
Yeah, this can still go either way. I mean, the timing of the 4th base is going to be interesting. Any progression on into Infestation Pit. Or
even saturating the 3rd base fully.
Sure.
Neither player is really confident enough to do that yet.
They're still very wary of a potential counterattack. Of course, Vortix, he's been applying the pressure throughout this series. And again, he's the kind of guy who loves doing that. So Tefel always has to have that on his mind. Will he be prepared for a mass roach attack whenever it decides to come?
Yeah, one of these players, I mean, the next step is for each of these guys to probably sneak in a few more drones. And then after they sneak in a few more drones, then they take the 5th and 6th gases, then they progress in tech. But it's kind of scary to try to figure out when to do that, right? Again, like you said earlier, it's a game of drones.
Okay, Roach is sprinting on into that third base area from Vortix. Tefel trying to receive
I
this
think Tefel has more right here.
optimally. It looks like he does. He also has the defender's advantage. It's going to be a little bit easier for his Roaches to help reinforce this area. Tefel happy to engage. It's a pretty decent concave as well. Vortix trying to kite away. Upgrade advantage belongs to Vortix. Let's remember that +2 missiles is not yet done for Tefel. Tefel now going to extend forward, trying to get this around on Vortix. Vortix looking for reinforcements as well, but for now, Tefel has too much.
Great kiting, or stutter stepping forward after each attack by Tefel to not allow Vortex to disengage. Now he's counterattacking, actually. Does he have enough to break Vortex? I don't know, actually. He may have overextended here. Vortex with a lot of units, but Tefel now has actually the better upgrades with 2 attack against 1 attack and 1 armor, but Vortex, more reinforcements come in. The defender's advantage swings back in his favor, but here come the speedlings, and they can actually help as well, just getting in the way.
All right, it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on. It's been so back and forth. The Link's trying to get us around on these Roaches. Vortex coming forward, but it all depends on these reinforcements.
Oh, more reinforcements, Tefel. It looks like they're both pulling on a rope. Which way is it going? There goes a queen goes out from Vortex.
Yeah.
Tefel's
It's tug-of-war. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely a tug-of-war. Or they're more of a push war than a tug war, but
sure. Like Nexus Wars.
Yes. Exactly. It's basically Nexus Wars. Both players spamming out units. Vortex sneaking in 4 drones. Both players taking an additional gas. So we see Tefel actually, his minerals are getting very high, unable to keep up with the larva.
Oh, he's going to sprint in here, and
I don't think he can. Tefel should hold this.
Gosh, it's like whoever pushes into the base, it's not working out for them. Again, the defender's advantage is pretty darn huge.
We have seen Vortex sneak in a few more drones
that's
though now.
very important.
Yeah, and I mean, this difference right here is like 2 roaches a minute, right? Or 3 roaches a minute, and you know, 6 roaches. 2 minutes later, you got 6 more roaches than your opponent, and that could swing the game in your favor.
All right, Vortex needs to be careful. Doesn't want to overextend, and this could be the definition of overextending. Tefel getting more and more roaches coming forward, and now Tefel's going to be the one pushing across the map. How do you, who's going to sneak in the drones? Who's going to sneak in the tech?
Well, they both snuck in a 5th gas. Actually, Vortex going for the 6th gas even, and Tefel is now trying to get some more drones. So we're going to have roughly even drone counts. Tefel, you know, Vortex has extra supply lead. He has a few more drones out, but Tefel has all these minerals. Once he finds a way to spend them, I think that's going to be looking pretty good for him. Upgrade-wise, Vortex did get the level 2 attack, so now he is again ahead by the single armor upgrade. Tefel is going to try to equalize that.
All right. Roaches
we have a Hydra down here
from both players this entire game. Again, it shows how good they both are and how well they're reading each other, too. Knowing that their opponent is investing so much into Roaches, they're continuing with the aggression. They can't really afford to make any steps into anywhere else. But now that they're both kind of being passive, now they're starting to mix in that extra tech. We see the Hydra Den finishing a little bit earlier here for Tefel.
Neither of them is really confident to go to Infestors right now.
Sure.
They're like, I don't have that much extra gas. So they're making like the in-between step of the Hydras.
Hydra's starting to come out now, though. But it's all going to come down to positioning. That's going to be very important. Where are these guys engaging? How close are their hatcheries to their army? Like, what's their supply line like?
Oh, again, it's Vortex moving out.
Yeah,
looking to engage here. A few Hydras are out here for Tefel. From now on, he'll probably rally in Roaches.
Trying to spread out. Not a terrible position here from Tefel. Vortex is going to try to take it, just charging into this concave that Tefel has.
Drones.
Is it going to pay off, though? Some drones being pulled here for Tefel, trying to make this work. Hydra's doing a lot of damage from the back, and Vortex is going to try to charge towards that natural expansion area. Drones forced to engage here from Tefel, and Vortex of 139 to 130 in supply. Not a terrible trade, but he's going to back out now.
I love pulling the drones here. I think that was instrumental in the defense. He might have taken horrible casualties without that. Yes, he lost a few more drones. Yes, now he's down by a few, but he's still in the game. Whereas if he lost that engagement horribly there, he would be immediately out of it. Decisively pulling a few drones to get in front and help buffer for those Hydras. Going forward now, Vortex is the one trying to add his Hydras, and I don't think Tefel ever felt confident enough to invest in that range upgrade yet. Of course, as the army stays small, it's not as important. As they get bigger, that extra range helps get you a lot more service area, a lot more Hydras into action. So look for Tefel once he feels confident enough. He'll add that in. And, oh, a nice contaminate there on this hatchery.
Oh, I love that. I wish Zerg would do that more.
Yeah. You know what?
Yep.
I'm not sure if this is intentional or not. It might be intentional. Have 2 on each of these gases.
Oh, sure.
It's hard to tell. Because it is at the point where
you're just making roaches and hydras. It's not like you're stockpiling gas for mutas or investors or
yeah.
or something.
And his drone count it's not full 3 base, right? He's on 49 drones, so he has to make a cut somewhere. He doesn't want to be too far behind him in income. And meanwhile, we get a 4th base up from Vortix now, so Vortex is getting decisive advantage.
He's going to be able to trade much easier because he's going to be able to reproduce or remake and remax much easier, much faster than his opponent with those 4 bases. And Tefel, he needs to make something happen here. Either try to spread your opponent out, send units here and there,
or try to drone hard and be defensive. But it looks like
get a stupidly good engagement.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think that's what he's going for. He's going for an attack, so he's hoping for that stupidly good engagement. But Vortex is again going to get an upgrade advantage here in just a second. He's also working on Hydra's speed to get a mobility advantage, at least in positioning around in the battlefield. Taking out these rocks is very smart. And now Tefel's looking to engage, but his units are caught off guard there.
This is okay for Tefel, but Vortex charging forward a lot of Hydras in this composition, just trying to get as close as possible to his opponent's forces. Vortex has a supply lead, 183 to 150. Remember, he can reinforce much easier. 19 roaches in that production tab for Vortex, and he's going to try to clean this up, but Tefel pushing back. Such a close battle here. This could still go either way, and I think Vortex has a slight advantage. Yes, Vortex is going to come forward, clean it up. So much blood and guts on the ground, but Vortex, he's going to be happy about that because he's up 153 to 89 right now, and he can make units much faster than his opponent.
And Hydra's speed is finishing now. Is Vortex going to wait for all the roaches to catch up, or is he going to just keep pushing forward right now? Well, it's Vortex. He's never going to wait if he has a chance to attack. Coming in here right now. He has numerical superiority and better upgrades.
He's going for it. No reason not to. And Tefel throwing down the GG. And that's pretty appropriate. That's pretty cool. Because that means what, Mr. Nick?
That means we're going into Game 3. That's what GG means. Says, get ready for Game 3.
We're tied. We're
tied up. This is as close as a team match can be. I mean, I guess other matches could have been 2-1 as well. But basically, it's tied up 2-2 between Dignitas and Mouse.
Yes.
And the final set that decides who advances is tied up 1-1. So
this is it's down to this: Vortex versus Tefel. This when you're going to take penalty kicks, they're tied up 4-4, 3-3, 2-2. And you get your forward, your striker. It's time. They're out there. The crowd is cheering. The crowd is going crazy. Can they secure the kick? Who's going to win this? It comes down to this final Game 3 to decide who's going to advance to the finals of the Raid Call ESL Euro Series Summer 2013. Guys, stay tuned. Game 3, the decider, coming up.